Etcetera with the Woodards. This is episode 49. I am your host, Craig Woodard Sr., and joining me in just a few minutes is my co host, Deontay Cooley. He will be back in the building. We'll discuss some things. It's good to have him back on the show. All right, first of all, let's start off. I want to talk about a couple things before we bring in Deontay. Um, Let's start with the Down Syndrome Association of Tampa Bay. You guys know, obviously, those that know me know that I run the nonprofit as the executive director and president of the Down Syndrome Association of Tampa Bay down here in Tampa Bay. Been doing it going on 8 years now, loving it. Obviously, Craig Jr. has been the inspiration for that particular nonprofit organization. He was blessed with Down syndrome 11 years ago, and he is the sole source of why my wife and I do what we do. Okay, that's first and foremost. Having said that, we got a couple events coming up. Actually, tomorrow. Tomorrow is December 1st, Monday. December 1st, we have our very first in the fifth year, our 321 art class begins our fifth year tomorrow, which is going to be great. It's down here in Brandon at Center Place, which is connected to the Brandon Library. That's going to go off between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. We do have free speech therapy. We have occupational therapy as well. That's there that is also free of charge. And this program has been funded by a grant by Hillsborough County. So we're super excited to get our fifth year going. And you know, it's been such a successful class that we've had to expand. We have families across the bay here that live in the Pinellas County area, St. Pete, Oldsmar, Pinellas Park, those areas that they want some servicing too. And you know, it takes a little bit of time to make it over the bridge, especially on a Monday at 6 o'clock. You don't want to be coming all the way over for the bridge, all the way over here for an hour, do a class, and then drive all the way back home. So we started 321 art class in Pinellas. Okay, it is at the Park Street Baptist Church. The very next class, which will be the third class, is on December 14th. It is a Sunday, and that is going to go from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. And they also offer free speech therapy and occupational therapy as well. So two really good art classes, really good specialists, therapists, teachers there as well. So super excited. Tomorrow, Center Place, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., 321 art class, Hillsborough County, and December 14th on Sunday, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Actually, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow, and 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday, December 14th, at the Park Street Baptist Church over in Pinellas County. So, yeah, we're excited. Very excited for those. Coming up, too, it'll be in March sometime. We have not started ticket sales, but we have our huge fundraiser. You know, our Vice President, Drew Garabo, who is the host of Drew Garabo's Live on 102.5 The Bone, down here, the radio station down here in Tampa. He is our Vice President, and they are throwing Down to Bowl 5 coming up in March. Huge fundraiser for us. We usually sell out every single year, every single lane. We have silent auctions there, 50/50s, all types of different stuff. Last year, I believe, was our best fundraising year. We raised just slightly over $30,000. So hopefully we can do better, even more this year coming up. So as soon as we have a date penciled in and we have the website up and running, I will let you all know. Even for those that are in, you know, Pennsylvania or in different states, if you can't obviously make it down here, you can make a donation to the Down Syndrome Association in Tampa Bay. We would love for that to happen. Okay. Last up for DSATB news, we do have our gala that is coming up. It's the Rise Up for Down Syndrome Gala presented by Achieva Credit Union. Achieva Credit Union is our title sponsor this year. We are blessed to have them involved. That is going to be October 3rd from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Tampa River Center. Tickets are now available. You can check our website, www.dsatb.org, and click on Gala Tickets. It'll take you right to the site. Tickets are not expensive at all. I believe $75 for adults 17 and under. It's $21, and individuals blessed with Down syndrome and other special needs, they get in free. But it was a sellout crowd last year. I have increased the enrollment for this year so that we can have some more people there. It's going to be absolutely incredible. It's going to be a fun night. That is going to be held October 3rd next year, 2026, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Tampa River Center. All right, I'm going to bring in my cousin here. Let me bring Deontay. Where is he at? There he is. He's ready to roll. What's up, DC, man? Welcome back to the show.
Man?
How you been, man?
Whew, man. Exhausted,
Busy.
man. I ain't gonna
Coming up for breath.
Yeah, for real, man. I've been busy, man. I've been all over the place doing all kind of different things. Doors opening, doors closing, news, information, good stuff, bad stuff. So
yeah.
But for the most part, though, I've been good, man. I've been grinding as usual.
Yeah, man. I see you, man. It's great to have you back. Sometimes when you get busy, get tied up, and you got to take a breather, man. You got to do what you got to do. I was glad to see you were joining me tonight, though. It's been quite some time, and I hope we have one of them shows tonight. You know how you and I do.
Definitely needed, man. Especially for as long as we've been going, man. And all the things that have been taking place, and even the things that's coming up, like
yeah. Let's just hop right into it. I mean, we have, ladies and gentlemen, we have no script. We don't have anything in front of us. This is a discussion that Deontay and I have, and we talk about real stuff. We talk about the important subject that is going right on in Erie, the city of Erie right now. Day 151 in the Marcello Woodard investigation. For those of you that do not know or have not followed what has transpired, back on July 2nd, our cousin Marcello Woodard was in a vehicle, and his parole agent was assisted by another parole agent, but his parole agent, Kevin Seelinger, allegedly shot and killed him while he was in his car. It is on video. Shot him 3 times. And the district attorney, Elizabeth Hers, however you pronounce her name, has not made a decision on the case. Months ago, the case was turned over to her by the Pennsylvania State Police. She sent it back because she wanted further investigation. Sources tell us that the Pennsylvania State Police have already submitted it back to her, but she has only had 2 statements released to the public. She has not had any conversation with the family, and here we are on day 151. Like, D, when we see these numbers every day, this has bothered me every day. I'm like, day 151. Sometimes I forget what day it is. It's been so many days. Like, 151 and still nothing, man. What does that say to you?
Well, man, honestly, I got a lot of different thoughts about it. Yeah. And then as the time goes on, you have different people reaching out to you, telling you their thoughts, telling you their opinions or their assumptions. But I did have a conversation with the district attorney. I don't know if we talked about that on this or not, or if I talked about it on one of my lives or not. But so when I went to the last city council meeting, that was during the daytime.
Okay.
So it was a daytime city council meeting. I believe it was like the day right after the election. So I go in there, I seen Daria walking in there, said hi to her or whatever. So when I go, I think we did talk about this. When I went in there, they was honoring a police officer.
Yes. Okay, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, so I had a conversation with her, and I pretty much I asked her, like, yo, do you plan on saying something or doing something? And what she said was that she was advised by she was advised by some other district attorneys across the country, some of her colleagues and people that she worked with, to not say anything until the investigation was complete. Don't talk to the family or don't meet with the family um, until the investigation was complete. And I told her, like, I understand nobody's trying to rush you to come up with a decision. Nobody's saying to instantly or immediately do something. But I'm like, it's very interesting that you can be here present at this city council meeting, but you haven't been present at any of the other ones.
Right.
So, like, at least give people an opportunity to be heard and listened to and tell us something because you haven't told us anything. Then another person came to me recently and said that they spoke to the district attorney, and the district attorney said that she was asked by whoever the civil attorneys are who are handling the case to not speak to the
Okay.
public, which I can understand in a sense. But then my issue with that is the district attorney, she has a responsibility to the people. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? Because this isn't as far as what she's doing, she's not a civil attorney. You
Right.
know what I mean? So we as the people, we vote her in and she's making decisions on our best interest to keep us safe. There should be some type of communication. So at this point, like it's all left up for assumption, it's all left up for speculation. And she's not trying to alleviate anything. She's not trying to talk to anybody about it on the public level. I seen Michael and Deuce was on Facebook the other day when they had the protest down there, and I believe that they went down there to speak to her from what I read in the comments, and I don't think they got anywhere either. So at this point, it just kind of
Okay.
seems like she's avoiding talking to people about the situation specifically. I'm not exactly sure what she's doing in her office or with her team. You know, I know Jeremy Leitner was running for judge. He didn't get the judge, so I'm not sure if at first we were all thinking maybe they didn't want to release any information because it could mess up his chances. But
Right.
now we're to the point now that we're on day 151. We've made it through the primary election.
Hmm.
We made it through the general. No, not the primary. We made it through the general election. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Everybody knows who's going to be in what position. So now it's to the point now to where like, what are we going to do? When are we going to have some conversation about it? Or when are we going to receive any type of news or any information like that?
Yeah, and it's troublesome for most of us that we wake up in the morning feeling the same way. Nothing has changed. No new information. No decisions been made. No charges have been read. No arrest has been made. No termination. And we're left with the same feeling every single day when we wake up in the morning. And I'm like, okay, what day is it? It's day 151. Like, this is getting ridiculous. I'm like, Lord, it's in your hands. Give me strength to make it past this. And I can only imagine how the family feels. My cousin Charles and Cello's kids and Shamel. I can't even imagine how Shateria feels with Major, and going through Thanksgiving and not having their loved one present. And
Listen, cuz I ain't gonna hold you. Like I was talking to Shamel last week,
yeah,
and we was having a conversation, man, and she almost broke my heart. Like I'm sitting there, we talking, I'm watching the game on my phone at the same time. We just, just catching up.
yeah,
And some of the stuff she said, I turned my phone off completely, and I just gave her my undivided attention because, like, it's because I'm not as connected, or nobody is as connected to as she is. I don't
right,
think that we really truly look at it through her perspective or through her lens. And when
yeah,
she was sharing some stuff with me, I'm just like, wow, like you know what I mean? Like it
yeah,
took everything in me not to cry in front of her. It was me, Shamel, and Shamir. We were sitting there, and I'm just like, just listening to. It was one of those times where it's just like, when somebody's expressing themselves and you want to have something to say, but you like, this is probably the time where I just don't say nothing at all.
yeah, yep,
But it's
yep,
like, and I'm not going to share what she shared with me, but it made me realize that she has to wake up every single day, and this is her reality
yeah,
forever.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And then even like the strength that she has to have because I lost family members and it's hard to to deal with the grief.
hmm,
Cousins who you talk to on the phone every now and then. But when you're talking about somebody that you spending your everyday life with and you know what I mean, you waking up to and you going to sleep to or the text messages and the phone calls and it's just like this wasn't expected. So there's times where I'm sure she probably still wake up looking at her phone wondering if he texted her or why
yeah,
he didn't call and stuff like that. So You know what I mean? When you get to the point of like we on day 151, and I know a lot of people have phased out. Um, and then now when you again you mentioned Shateria and having to deal with Major, and you mentioned the other family, and I'm not going to speak on that. I was asked not to. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But to realize that these women are going through a very, very difficult time, a very rough time right now, and a lot of us are still living our lives. Even when we scream injustice for cello, I think that sometimes we don't even think to consider some of the things that the other people are going through.
Yeah.
I guess we can look at it and be like, I couldn't imagine. But
Right.
after having a conversation that I had with her last week and like I ain't gonna say feeling her pain, but understanding her pain and where she came from, it just made me I wanted to do something. And it's like it's getting to the point now to where like I know if I want to do something, there are other people who are getting tired of being patient and they want to do something, but we all, we got to figure out how we can keep our heads and keep being strong for everybody who's involved. Because man, like I said, after I had that conversation with her, man, I felt I wanted to just hug her and ask her what you want me to do. How can we,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But it's getting to the point now, like we again, we're only left to assume, and it's only so much that you can assume before you decide to like figure out how to take some action. And one thing that I was thinking about when it comes to taking action is like, do we need to blow up the HR? Because if somebody call your job and call your job enough times to harass, it's like, yo, this is a liability. We can't have you working here if we getting phone calls all the time. So I'm assuming. I mean, I feel like that might be the next move for as far as Kevin and Aaron Osborne. We need to be calling the HR and asking
Yeah.
questions. Yo, are they working there? Where are they still working at? We got some complaints about it, and we need to keep that phone line ringing because, like at this point, something got to shake. And then I got a phone call at the last meeting we were at. Jen Kennedy tried to present a resolution.
Hmm.
They said that they already have some or something like that, but she did come up with another resolution. And this Wednesday morning at the city council meeting, that will be being presented.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like we getting to the point now to where we're reaching people, and there are people who are like, I'm going to do what I can within my capacity. And she says she did some research and she figured out a resolution geared towards cello that will be presented. She got the support of two city council people, and we're hoping that we can get off all seven.
Yeah.
But if not four, just to get it on the agenda. You know what I mean? To get it passed, it will be on the agenda, but it's going to be at the Wednesday morning meeting. I'm not exactly sure how many people will be able to make it there, but we want to get as many people as we can there possible because now, as we're pushing for justice, we're
Yeah.
not just pushing for okay, let's scream, let's protest, and let's make an arrest. There are people who are like, yo, I'm tired of this myself. I don't know how I can help, but this is what I can do to support it. And you know what I mean? That's I guess that's just my little tangent for now as far as like some of the stuff I've been seeing, witnessing, and going through over the course of the last month since being here.
Yeah. And I appreciate you sharing that. Everyone has a different perspective on this, and um, we we do take time to consider other people's perspective, but we will never have the ability to see it through their lens. And that's the one thing with a lot of the family members and loved ones that we will never be able to see. And you're absolutely right. The I can only imagine statement becomes true. And then, like, we're left with assumptions. And I'm guilty of that because that's all that I have. And so when my mind works in a different way and it goes off on a tangent and I start to think about all of these different scenarios of what possibly could happen. What if this is going on? What if that's going on? And this isn't right. And all it does is it makes you more. It makes you more upset, and I've thought about this as well. Like, what if this this case is decided and it's just sitting on her desk, um, and she is controlling this and waiting to break the news. We don't know what the news is. I'm I'm hopeful. I'm really, really hopeful. And I know God is good. But we know what happened. Why is this taking so long? And, you know, the thing that she has to understand is that there's other people that are sick of her processes, and they end up telling people information. Um, and so, when we are privy to certain information, um, it's bothersome when you put all these facts together of what possibly could be going on. And I've talked to a couple people, and they said, you have no idea what goes into an investigation. These things take a long time, you know. And so that person that said that to me, I keep that person in the back of my mind, and I think, okay, let me check the very first case where the parole agent shot and killed his parolee out in Fresno, California, Sanchez. Let me check that. So every once in a while, I'll Google it and pull it up and everything, and because that case is still open. It happened December 24th of last year, and that case is still ongoing. And I don't understand. But that further validates what that person told me, is that these things do take a long time. Now, I've talked to other people that said, what is she doing? She doesn't know how to do her job. She's not doing her job correctly. You guys should file a complaint. There's paperwork that you can file that they can go and they can actually do an investigation on her and on this investigation. And so there's a lot of different things and a lot of different perspectives, but we're left with only the assumptions because of what you said. She's not saying anything to anybody, and sometimes when you are not communicating, you're saying everything because we as a community will take it in one way, and we're furious, and I just don't know what other way to take it. And I know you said you felt like, just giving the twins a hug, and what can I do? What else is there that we can do?
I mean, yeah, I agree. I think we just gotta stay consistent with keeping it relevant. I wake up every single morning. I'm up at like 4:30. I'm seeing Justice Ficello posts. You know what I mean? I see you do the countdown every single day.
Yeah.
It's constant people who are busy. I just think we need to make sure that we're mindful of the people who are actually having a struggle and reach out. I know there are some people who are privately reaching out to Shamel, to Shamir, to Snowy, to Shatira. I know they got their own thing going as far as like relationships and stuff like that. But like I
Hmm.
said, like we said before, on the flip side, like it is building a bond within the community as far as like and it's a diverse thing too. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of people who don't look alike, who don't come from the same areas or even this areas or even the same zip codes that are now like if you look in the comment section of this conversation on Facebook right now, like you can just literally see how it's growing,
Yeah.
how people are coming together, how people are building relationships. So, I mean, I guess, not I guess, what we can do is continue to make sure that we bring awareness to the subject. We continue to make sure that every time we talk to somebody, we inform them. And then when people ask, what can I do? We tell them to do whatever it is that you can do within your capacity that's going to help bring some awareness because we can't make a decision. You know what I mean? We can't make an arrest. We
Right.
can't request a trial or nothing like that. So it's more or less, how do we stay smart? How do we stay strong? And then we got to stay faithful. So, we got to stay prayed up, of course. But for the most part, we can't go away. We can't let it die down. And I had an interesting conversation with somebody the other day, and they said this is something that people don't want to be publicized because on one side, if we make too much noise about it and it doesn't go in our favor, it's going to give parole agents the thought process that this is okay behavior. On the
Yeah.
flip side, somebody said if we make too much noise with it, parolees might feel as though they have a little bit more power in their situation in which they actually do. So it's more or less how much noise do you make without giving perspective. Now, this was something that was brought to my attention because I don't plan on shutting up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's just like after 100, we're on day 151 now, but I spoke to this individual on day 148. But it's
Mm.
like after so many days, you know, what else is there left to assume? And then it's even to the point now to where I'm curious to know, like, because she's not interacting with us or talking to us, like, is this a violation of our civil rights? If we say, hey, we don't feel safe, and although we understand that, they protect officers of the law and they don't release their names or we don't even know who shot Cello. Like legally, I mean,
Yeah.
like what's the word? I guess righteously,
Hmm.
we're all assuming based on what we know, based on what we heard, and can we apply pressure to the news station and say, hey, why don't you guys try to figure out who's the shooter, who's the killer, so that information can be released? Because it's all speculation. So it's a
Yeah.
couple of different angles that we can take about it to make sure that we continue to seek justice for Cello. And it's not all just applying pressure to the district attorney. We need to be applying pressure to the Pennsylvania Office of Probation and Parole. I mean, yeah, the Probation and
Yeah.
Parole Office, because what's going on there, or the Department of Corrections, because I've heard he's in Mercer County, and now I
Hmm.
heard he's working at SCI Cambridge Springs. And usually when people get transferred, like I worked at Cambridge Springs for 7.5 years,
Mm.
so usually when people get transferred out somewhere, or when they're having a rough time, they send them to Cambridge Springs because it's an all women's jail, and they call it Camp Cupcake up there.
Okay.
So it's more or less like you can go there and kind of like bid your time and slip through the cracks and go under the radar. So he could be at Cambridge Springs. That's right up the road. I used to drive there every day.
Wow. I'm. I think you made a valid point earlier when you talked about um, is this a an HR thing, a human resources thing? Do we need to collectively as a community um, express how we feel um, to the powers that be at his job? I mean, yeah, you know, when you think about it, I mean, this is a total 180 if you or I were the shooter. All right, we already know if it was day 151, we would have been in jail for 151 days, right? So that we already know. How is it different for him just because he's part of quote unquote law enforcement? And what I'm privy to is this guy had a horrible working background, especially when he was um, a correction officer and going through his training right down in Albion. Heard a number of different things. So when you have issues internally at your job, and then your job as a parole agent is not to kill people, and you do, which is the worst crime that you can do is to take somebody's life, in my opinion. So why is this dude number one still free to be with his family during Thanksgiving? And number two, why is he still working regardless of where they put him? Cambridge Springs, Albion, Meadville, like what? Like are
Right.
they changing this thing around to make him more comfortable? What about the family?
Absolutely, because I know, like, when I was working for this is the thing. When I was working for the state, and I said this early on, like, I had got into some. I ain't gonna say I got into some issues. I rubbed some people the wrong way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I rubbed some people the wrong way, I had to do, like, I took a leave,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to do a mental health evaluation before I came back, and I had to take 2 personality tests. Them joints was like 300 questions, and I didn't kill nobody. And the first time I took it, the lady told me that she felt like I was lying, so they gave me more time off from work until I got my head right and told me to come back and take the test again. And mind you, this was around the time where George Floyd got killed by the
Mm-hmm.
police officer. And there
Okay.
was a rumor started in the jail that, like, I wanted to kill police. So they, like, everybody was, oh, we can't have Deontay here. You know what I mean? So I took some time off. Then they gave me some time off. Maybe, but I'm not sure how this man can work for the state of Pennsylvania.
Right.
And again, I've talked to people who have worked at Albion with him who don't want their name. They won't speak up on it because the working environment out there is kind of like, it's real.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know the proper word to use out there, but
Yeah.
then I've had conversations with people who he supervises on parole who are afraid. So people are talking about his character. People are
Mm-hmm.
talking about his reputation, and I have not heard one good thing about this man. You know what I mean? Like, even
Yeah.
I haven't even seen people speak on his behalf on social media or on the internet to be like, oh, this was a mistake, or Kevin doesn't think like that, or I never saw this coming, or he was never this type of guy. Like, there's no any support or advocacy on his end. But when you talk to enough people, and you do enough digging, you can see that throughout his history, he has had problems working in the
Yep.
institution. He
Mm-hmm.
has had problems on the street, clearly because he killed Cello,
Yeah.
and now he's still employed by the state of Pennsylvania. So it's like, who do we as the people, when we say we the people, does that exclude certain people? Who do we need to
Right.
talk to? Who do we need to reach out to? Who do we need to share our concerns? Where does this dude work at to be like, yo, this is unacceptable? Because another thing, I remember people when Gannon was firing people for making comments about Charlie Kirk.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
So
Absolutely.
people were losing their jobs for something as
Yeah.
simple as a Facebook post, and
Right.
to whatever that means. Like, we don't got to dive back into that subject. But what
Right.
I will say is, you can lose your job if you make a Facebook post that goes against the company policy. So
Absolutely.
now I believe that the message that the Office of Probation and Parole is putting out is it's okay to kill parolees as long as you can verbally justify it.
Yeah.
That's the message that's being put out right now.
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. You know, and that brings me back to the last protest that we had at the before the Erie County Council meeting a week and a half ago, and we had an incident with some Gannon students, four of them that were laughing and just very disrespectful to the people that were protesting and what we were protesting about. And we have already reached out to Gannon, and we haven't heard back from them yet. Of course, there's Thanksgiving break and things in that nature, man. But they were quick to send out a statement about those that have certain social media posts concerning Charlie Kirk, they will be dealt with internally, and they were, and so I'd like to see if anything happens on the student level. If I mean, that kind of tells me a little bit about where some of the Gannon officials are coming from, and I'll say that I can say that because of my experiences there. Um, if they are very pro one sided when it comes down to a political figure, and then you have an incident with a local figure that happens, and you have people that are lashing out in a negative way, you're just going to let them get a pass? What do you do? Did you set the standard when it came down to Charlie Kirk, that this is how you're going to handle certain situations going forward, or were you just doing that as a one-off because of who it was? So that all means something, and we'll see how that all plays out as well. But there's a lot of people that need um, protected. I think there's a lot of scared people out there, especially out there in the Edinboro area where he resides. We've heard from a few, but to touch base with HR at his job, and people complain about what has occurred and how they feel. That could possibly open some eyes. I mean, and we're having this conversation. I don't know what else to do to um, shake the tree anymore than even something like that. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea, honestly. And I think that's going to be the push. Is getting people to call HR. If it's
Yeah.
calling all the way in Harrisburg, if it's calling the office, HR on 18th Street, if it's calling SCI Cambridge Springs to see if that's where he's at, if it's calling SCI Mercer, because this is an at will state. You know what I mean? We have a right to know. So we do they can't hide him. They can't say, oh, we can't tell you if he works here or not. You know what I mean? And we have the right to complain because those are tax paying. I mean, his salary is based off taxes. You know what I mean? So he gets
Yeah.
paid from taxpayers. So taxpayers have the right to call, to ask questions. They have the right to call and complain. They have a right to know information. And that's another thing. Like, I'm getting information from people who are filling out right to know.
Yeah.
And I'm not exactly sure what all information we can release or not. But what I will say is, it's been brought to my attention a couple of different times that Cello's parole had been ended before he was shot and killed on
Absolutely.
paper.
January 18th. I saw it myself. Uh, you know, uh, Ordering that is the best thing that we could have done. Um, January 18th, it was listed 4 times. January 18th, 2025. So this whole July 18th of 2025, I would love for the district attorney's office to produce documentation showing on paper, signed off by a judge, that his parole was extended 6 months to July 18th of 2025, because that's not in the right to know, and so
Absolutely, and I think that would be the district attorney's job to do too, as well. Like that's not something that the civil lawyer has to do to work. Because I know some people will probably be like, "Oh, the family need." No, the district attorney who's investigating the case, it is her job to do the fact finding. So she's to find the facts to say, "Hey, when did his parole end? If it was extended, why was it extended? I need thorough documentation." And like I said before, in the system within a DOC, all of those notes are universal. So anybody who works for the Department of Corrections in the state of Pennsylvania can go into the system and see all the notes on Cello. I mean, I remember when Bill Cosby had got locked up, they sent out an email to everybody like, "Hey guys, if you type this man's name in this system, we will be alerted, and it's not gonna go well for you all." So like, because once you're in the state system, you're in the state system, so you can look up anybody's information. You can see their intake packet. You can see the times they've met with their probation officer, their counselor while they're incarcerated. So it's the district attorney's job to find this information out. This isn't something that's just privy to the immediate family to know when he was supposed to be off parole or not. Like that information needs to come out, and we shouldn't have to keep talking about it or speculating it when she
right,
has that information.
right. Now here's my problem, and you and I talked about this a couple months ago. Same scenario, right? We talked about this. What if it cannot be produced? What if that paperwork cannot be produced, and the documents that we've seen already from the right to know show January 18th of 2025 is when he was supposed to be off parole, but yet he was still being held on parole by his parole agent until July 18th, and they have no record of it. And she can clearly see, and should have been able to see within 151 days whether that was true or not.
Right.
But if she saw that it wasn't true, and she's sitting on this, what does that say about her?
So you want to know a speculation? This might be one that might get us in trouble. It might get us all in trouble, cuz
We're speculating. This is allegedly, everyone. We are
listen, this
speculating.
speculation might really get us in trouble here, but this is what I will say, right? And this just
Mhm.
came to me. So let's say he was done in January, right? And then
Yes.
January 18th is
Yep.
documented. And if
January 18th.
there's no record showing that he received a 6-month extension,
Yep.
which means he was illegally imprisoned
Yes.
by the Department of Corrections,
Yes.
which is now underneath the state. So this is a bigger issue than just that office. This
Right.
is if this is the case, Marcello Woodard was murdered by Kevin Seelinger and Aaron Osborne under the shield of the Pennsylvania Department of Probation and Parole, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
here's the thing: since they were under that shield,
Mhm.
if his probation or his parole was done in January, that
Yeah.
means that they allowed him to continue to be supervised under his shield illegally,
Yep.
which means he was killed
Yes.
unlawfully while
Yes.
representing their shield. So now it's not Kevin Seelinger versus Elizabeth Hurts in Erie County. It's not Aaron
Mhm.
Osborne's, and it is now Erie County versus the state
Yes.
of Pennsylvania, right?
Yes.
So now we got the district attorney who might have to potentially unsolve a case that is showing that the entire state of Pennsylvania was wrong here.
Yep.
It's not just Kevin, it's not just Aaron, and it's not just one entity as far as probation or Department of Corrections. It is
Right.
now the entire state because he was under that shield and they're protecting us and hiding this. But here's the kicker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our governor wants to be president.
Yeah, that's true.
You
Yeah.
can't run for president if you have a lawsuit from a city going after a state when you've allowed one of your agents to kill somebody unlawfully under a shield when he was maxed out of parole already and you kept him on there. So it's like, if I'm running for president, all the dirt comes out. And if somebody finds out on my watch my state officers killed an innocent man who was no longer supervised by parole.
Mm.
Can he really become, well, anybody can become president these day and age, but you know what I mean? So
Right.
that's the speculation, because you have to understand that the district attorney of a county has a relationship with the governor of the state. I don't care. Nobody's larger than life. He can
Right.
call her, she can call him.
That's
So I'm
right.
sure they've had some type of conversation. I'm sure they've had some type of communication. And if we are able to access the right to know information, and we are
Mm-hmm.
able to see that, oh, Cello was off parole January 18th, but
Yep.
what they're saying is July 18th, and we got that information.
Yeah.
Imagine what information she's getting as a district attorney. So when she's seeing that, again, it's not all assumptions.
Right.
You call some people, oh, hey, what's going on here? I see that he was. Hold on, let me look into that. Let me check Kevin's notes.
Mm. Let me flip the script. What if we're speculating, right? What if that is what is occurring, and that is what is taking so long? I don't know her. You talk to her. I don't know her from a can of paint. I don't know her to be credible to me. All I know is the experience that I'm going through with my family with this investigation, right? I don't know her. So do I give her the benefit of the doubt, or do I follow my gut feeling from what I've been following for 151 days? Or does it make more sense that it's taking longer because she found this out and she has a whole bunch of people to investigate that are part of this problem?
That could be it. I mean, honestly, that could be it. Again, so you like when you say a thorough investigation or you say a thorough search, there's no time frame. And again, I'm talking to somebody and they say that. Use
Yeah.
the word thorough. There's no time frame on thorough, right?
Right. Right.
But if we're doing a thorough investigation, and if the information that we found is accurate as far as him maxing out, and then she brings that to somebody else's attention, it's a lot bigger than just one person,
Right.
because he has a supervisor who's supposed to be reviewing his notes. And then they have meetings to where they're supposed to be reporting information and talking about their caseloads and updating caseloads. All of this information is thoroughly tracked, and it is all registered and documented in the Pennsylvania state system. So
Mm-hmm.
anybody who works for the Department of Corrections or anybody who works for the Office of Probation and Parole, they can look this up. And I'm pretty sure they probably have, or they
Mm-hmm.
probably received the email saying, do not go in there. And because trust me, that happened when Bill Cosby, listen,
Yeah.
when Bill Cosby went to jail,
Right.
the Secretary of the Department of Corrections made sure to let everybody know, do not play around with that. So
Mm-hmm.
we talking about death.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was a message or email sent out, do not play with that. So then if she is doing a thorough investigation, and let's say we were giving her the benefit of the doubt, she may have uncovered some stuff to where if she does proceed, she might be under some hellfire herself.
Well, that's the other thing I was gonna ask, right? So as of July 2nd, um, the right to know was given up to, I believe, August 19th. Okay, and four times it stated January 18th is when he was supposed to be off. So up until July 2nd, is it possible that they could recreate paperwork to make it seem as if he was supposed to be off July 18th? Is there a way that they could manipulate the system? And I know you're using this example of Bill Cosby and people going into the file and stuff. Would it be detected if somebody did some type of cover up, allegedly, to make it appear that he was supposed to be off July 18th of 2025 versus January, like a paper trail? I mean, I think it'd be easy to get, someone to type something up and then have it stamped. But are those things are logged though, right?
Yeah,
There's
yeah. So
timestamps.
yeah, in that
Like,
system, in that
yeah,
state system, and I haven't worked there in 3 years.
okay,
But in that state system, when you go to put a note in,
yes,
you stamp that day, that time, because it's times like even if you make an error, right? So let's
right,
say for instance, I go in my notes, I would have to put Deontay Cooley is correcting an error from the previous note documented X, Y, and Z. So when I was working there, once it goes into that system,
mm-hmm.
it does not come out. And if you
Okay.
make a mistake, then you got to put an asterisk, misspell something, or misworded, or misquoted, wrong medication, wrong date. So if there's any updates
Hmm.
after July 2nd, then you would be able to know in that state system that if a note was entered on July 3rd saying Marcello's case was extended to 18th of July, then it would
Yeah.
be no anything that's documented in that state system is in that state system, and you cannot alter that. From when I was working there, from 3 years ago, if
Okay.
it's in the system, it's in there.
That's comforting to know. That's comforting to know that it at least the system would be able to detect whether or not they're trying to cover up those things. Because when we ordered, and there was a bunch of people that ordered the right to know, and you look at it and you see four different dates in there, and it says January 18th, 2025, and it also shows that those same documents were carbon copied to Elizabeth Hurst as well. So she's seen these documents showing January 18th, 2025. I really think that that is the key to, was there some type of a false imprisonment going on or not? And if there was, could there be a whole bunch of different players involved that could be causing us to be approaching, in the next 4.5 hours, day 152? You know, I don't know if,
Yeah, man. It's like, and it reminds me of some enemy of the state type stuff.
man, I'm
You know
telling
what I
you.
mean? Because like I ain't gonna hold you. The police been following me. Like I seen the
Jesus.
same police officer 3 times in the
Wow.
same day at 3 different places.
Wow.
And mind you, one was in the gym, and I'd be in the gym every day. And then the
Yeah.
next day I seen a different police because I started doing the PAL. So I started doing the stuff in the PAL program. So
Mm-hmm.
I partnered up with the Police Athletic League for their after school program. We talk about vape prevention. Since
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing that, I've been seeing police around where I don't normally see them around. But it's cool. I don't do nothing wrong or illegal. But you know
Right.
what I mean? So that's what I mean when I say like enemy of the state stuff is because she may be in the middle of uncovering something. And again, this is the entire state of Pennsylvania. If it's going down the way that we're speculating it to go down,
Right.
so there are some people who could potentially be in trouble who had no clue that this was going on. You understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like the secretary of the Department of Corrections could potentially be in trouble. The the
Mm-hmm.
the chair of, you know what I mean? Because it's like, yo, how did y'all miss all of this and let this go so far? And then when you have stuff like that going on, it's like we talking about people's livelihoods.
Yep.
We're talking about people's careers, people's reputations. Again, Governor Shapiro wants to be president, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure there's somebody in that line that wants to be a secretary of something. So if a mistake, excuse me, if a mistake
Mm-hmm.
that large was made, I can imagine people saying, "I don't care what we got to do, but we got to clear this up." And there's some people who probably want us to stop talking. There's
Yep.
some people who want us to go away. There's some
Mm-hmm.
people who feel like, "Oh, y'all making too much noise." And that's one of the most interesting things about. Well, I don't want to use the word interesting, but I'm curious to know if our district attorney is under that kind of pressure, and because she was like, "Well, how does that make you feel that people are attacking you?" And I told her it's not about my feelings. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to know, is she under some type of pressure or some type of duress to where she's damned if she does and damned if she doesn't? Because if he was supposed to max out January 18th
Mm-hmm.
and there's no paper trail or no documentation, he didn't sign anything or a judge, if he was not made aware officially,
Yep.
then it doesn't exist. This is another thing I'll tell you, because when you're incarcerated or you're
Yeah.
on parole, you are considered property of the state.
Absolutely. Property of the state.
I remember my supervisor, because it would be some incarcerated women in the prison, and they would do some self harming behavior, and it got to the point to where it was attention seeking, and my supervisor would hit them with one line, and you could always tell who was real and who was fake. He used to
Yeah.
tell these ladies, if I find you harming yourself again, I'm going to write a letter to your parole agent, and I'm going to let them know that you are damaging property of the state,
Mm.
and you will receive more charges if this is not a real mental health behavior.
Right.
And that stopped. So I'm saying that to say, if he was not state property, but he was killed by an officer of the state unlawfully, how many other people could potentially be in trouble behind this?
Yeah, yeah, a ton. There could be a ton. I want to go back to another fact. I say fact because it's on video, and I want to ask you a question with some of your experience working with the state. I look at the video. I've watched the video. I don't know how many times because I've watched this video, and they pull up, and then Aaron and Kevin pull up a few seconds behind them. Now, the statement originally said they were doing a compliance check, but Cello was not at his house. They were at Chamel's. Is it typical? Is it normal that parole agents follow their parolee in their car to someone else's house and they get out to do a compliance check with them there? Or is it normal for them to do that at the parolee's home?
So what I'll say to that, so I didn't work with parole on the street, but
Okay.
this is what I will say. From what I saw, it appeared as though they followed him, right?
Right.
But and I don't believe that his home plan was not there. I believe Shamel said his home plan wasn't there.
Okay.
So as far as the compliance check going there, I'm not sure if they could or they could not do that. But again, if he was on parole, he's considered property of the state.
Right.
So they can say, oh, we just happened to see him and I wanted to stop and talk to him, because the parole agent has every right to do so.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Okay.
it looked like that could be a potential justification. Oh, we saw him. We know he hangs here. We were in the area. We were just stopping to check in with him. So
Okay.
they can say as a compliance check, and they can say that we saw him, and because he is considered property of the state, if they see him and they want to search him, he has to. He can go back to jail. You know what I mean? It can be like, listen,
Right.
we don't want to deal with these behaviors. We're going to take you back unless you comply with what we're doing. So there's a chance that they could say, oh, well, we just happened to see him. We pulled a car over. We were doing a check, saved us some time from going home, whatever the case may be. So I'm not 100% sure if, you know what I mean, if it was illegal for them to be at her house, especially if they know that he would be there.
Right.
Because if he is on parole, he is considered property of the state, so they can say, hey, let me talk to you. But to kill him, they could have let him go home.
Well, that I was going to move to that point. Thank you for clearing that up, because I just had that question because I don't know how it goes. Right. So, July 2nd, they're saying he's trying to flee. He's trying to get away. Kevin was dragged. He's hanging on the car door. All this nonsense. Um, he had 16 days left. If he was unarmed, no drugs in the car. If there was an issue, wouldn't he have just gotten out the car and take me back to jail? I got 16 days left.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we all know Cello wasn't afraid of jail, so it ain't like,
Yeah. So that's the part that really disturbs me, because when I'm looking at this video, the car coasted after the first shot. At least that's what I see, right? But it doesn't make mathematical sense for him to flee from his parole agent, who quote unquote identified himself. And he has 16 days left if they just took him back to jail. Why did he have to lose his life that night? It just doesn't sit well with the decision that they're saying that Cello made.
And this is another thing too, right?
Yeah.
The kicker to this is, had they found something on him, then
Yes.
we all could be like, well, I mean, we could see why he ran. He was trying to get rid of X, Y. They didn't find nothing on him.
Nothing.
So even when they say he was fleeing, and then you say he got 16 days of parole left, what did they think? What was he running from?
Fleeing from what?
And for what? He didn't have a gun on him. He didn't have no drugs on him. Where was he running from?
Exactly. And that's what they're gonna have to prove that. They're gonna have to prove, like, there has to be a reason why This occurred, and there's no reason why it occurred. I fully expected something. To be honest with you, to be honest with you, I fully expected them to have planted something. Like if you had the audacity to have an extension, um, an extension where you're imprisoning someone that is free. Um, if you can fabricate and put that together, clearly you can put something in that car. Clearly
Yeah,
something
but you have
could.
to have something on you to plant something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they didn't. Nothing was planted, nothing was found. No gun was there, no gun was planted, nothing was found. So why in the world would they say he was fleeing? Fleeing from what and from who? It
Or
doesn't
what?
it just doesn't make any sense to me. The whole thing when you break it down, and sometimes, and this is why, I'm glad that you're here tonight. Sometimes you got to say this shit out loud to make it make sense or to make it not make sense. You know what I'm saying? And that's really truly where we're at right now. None of this makes any sense as to why he would have drove off that night. Nothing.
Not at all. I mean, again, because everybody, you already see people is bringing up the history and bringing up, you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, he's done this, he's been that. So again, we all know Cello done been in jail before. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
all know Cello is not afraid to go to jail. So
Yeah.
you talking 2 weeks of parole left? It's like, man, he could have did that in the county. Just take me down here. And
Thank you.
then when you say fleeing, when you watch the video and it's audio in the video, you don't hear a tire screech,
Nope.
you don't hear a scream, you don't hear
No.
you don't hear a stop, you don't hear his
No.
partner say anything. So then
No.
there's like, okay, if he was fleeing, he would have skirted off. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Then I talked to plenty of police officers who said I would have just let police, not even parole agents. I
Yeah.
don't say plenty, a couple. Talked to a couple police officers. I would have just let the door go. I've heard some people say there's no way you can make that kind of shot while holding on. So like you got all of these different speculations, but then when you try to say he was fleeing,
Yeah.
and you know the history of Cello, you know based on the report of the investigation or the search, there was nothing for him to be trying to. They even came back and they raided Shamel's house and they didn't find nothing in there either. So it's like it ain't like he gave her something to run into the house or
Right.
they threw something outside because they would have found it if it was an investigation. They didn't find anything in the car. So you
Right.
say like he's fleeing from his parole. Like who runs from a parole agent? Like who runs from a parole agent? You know what I mean? Because you never expect a parole agent to do something like that to you.
Right.
So there's no point to run. It's more like I've seen people talk trash to their parole agents like they was their friends.
Yeah.
Because it's more or less you have a relationship with your parole agent and you don't look at him like a law enforcement officer. You should have a relationship with your parole agent to where you can feel comfortable enough to joke respectfully. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? Like if your parole agent is, let's say he's a Browns fan and you're a Steelers fan, then y'all can have that relationship where y'all talk about stuff like that. You would never think, I don't think, well, I can't say that, but I don't believe that any person who's on parole should be feeling like their parole agent wants to kill them. Lock them up, yeah. I can understand why people are, oh, my PO hate me, he want to send me back to jail. But
Yeah.
I can't see anybody truly feeling like, man, my parole agent wants to kill me and I got to avoid him. But now we've created the opportunity for people to think like that, for people to feel that way because of what took place with Cello.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and I'm gonna say this, and I mean it. Um, I think grabbing on to the door was his excuse to shoot. I just think that. I think um, grabbing onto the door was his excuse to shoot because there's no substance behind the being dragged story, as you stated. The video may not be crystal clear, right? It may not be up in your face. I can see every single thing that happened, but you can hear the audio. You can hear the audio very clear. And as you stated, I didn't hear anyone stop. Oh, pull over, none of that. I didn't hear his partner, Aaron say anything. None of that is on there. You hear 3 quick gunshots from someone that they're saying tried to flee for no reason whatsoever. Doesn't make sense to me, DC. It doesn't make sense to me. I think grabbing onto the door so that that could be part of his story was his excuse to shoot. I really do. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I'm listen. I'm no video expert, but I will say from the video that I seen, it looked like he got out of that car with a gun in his hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, it's the first because the first parole agent that got there wasn't even Cello's agent. Why is there another agent? If you're doing a compliance check, why are you sending your buddy out there first?
Right.
You know what I mean? So your buddy goes out there and Cello probably looks at him, didn't recognize him, and the other one come with a gun. Like, man, listen. So I'm not sure, like, and then him grabbing the handle. Maybe he was trying to snatch Cello out the car. Maybe he wanted to open the door and shoot him. You know what I mean? Maybe that's when they said he fled. Maybe that's what took place. Maybe he grabbed the door and Cello seen the gun in his hand and was like, "Oh, let me get out of here," and he shot him because he realized he seen the gun. Like, it's so many different speculations, but at the end of the day, it's wrong. They was out there playing Wild Wild West with him, and it's people who are afraid to say something because, again, it could be deeper than a lot of us thinking. A lot of us are just thinking surface level. We thinking Erie City Council, we're thinking County Council, and we're not realizing, or we're not coming to the understanding that our governor wants to be president, and this is a state entity. So this wasn't city police. You know what I mean? So, and they made sure to let that be known immediately. It wasn't us.
Right.
City
Oh
police,
yeah.
it wasn't them. We'll help you guys. We'll block the street off. They were coming to the protest. They led the first march. The one officer came to the barbecue.
Yep.
So the police been behind
Yeah.
a lot of the movements, clearing their names up.
Absolutely.
So this is not even a small municipality thing. This isn't a sheriff thing or a county thing. This is state parole who did this. So this is a big deal, and we're not exactly sure how intricate it can be outside of what we do know, which is why we need to keep applying pressure. Because I'm pretty sure there's somebody somewhere that's shaking in their boots like, yo, 2026 is going to be a horrible year for me, or this might be the last year I'm here, or let's try to get anybody might be near retirement. Like, can you prolong? Somebody might be like, prolong this till February, because then I can collect all of my benefits. Like,
here's a question, DC. This information that we're talking about with the extension, was there extension? Was there not an extension? You know, what we have in the right to know, all of that stuff. Is all of that stuff pertinent to the civil case as well? Like, would an attorney jump on that information during it? Because I don't know which one is going to go first, the civil or the criminal. Typically, the criminal one goes first, and then they file a civil suit from that point on. But I don't know which order this one's going to go because this one's been extended for so long now. And I say it's been extended so long because we're at 151 days and there hasn't been an arrest yet. Usually the trial would begin almost a year after the arrest. We're not even to that point yet. You know what I mean? So the true statement here is when we say this is a marathon, not a sprint. It surely is. And to be honest with you, the marathon, the gun hasn't gone off yet. We haven't even started the race yet, and we're 151 days deep. So is that information pretty pertinent to the civil case as well?
Well, I think it goes hand in hand, right? And I think that this is assumption.
Yeah.
I believe that's another reason why they have not released the name. Because once they release the name, then the family can pursue civil.
Yes.
Because as of now, we don't know. And this is just an assumption. I'm not sure if they can still go civil against the whole state or whatever the case may be. But so all of the information that is going to go for the criminal, all of the information is going to be beneficial for the civil as well.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if they found out that he wasn't on parole, that's something that the family can use with the civil attorney. If they found out he wasn't being drugged, and then if they get information about his history working inside the prison, if they get information, like all of the information that we're talking about, it's criminal and civil. We just aren't on the civil side because we are not seeking any type of compensation that the immediate family can seek civilly. but we are
Right.
raising a lot of questions because we as individuals, this could happen to any of us, and it's a violation of civil rights.
Right.
So everything that we talking about, it all is going to go hand in hand. All of the information that all the information that's going to come out from the criminal investigation,
Hmm.
whoever the attorney is that's on the civil side is going to subpoena all of that information.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
they're going to be following all of these conversations
Yeah.
that you and I are having, and anybody else, and
Yep.
all of the speculations and all of the assumptions. And they're going to build a case because then, even if you think about it like this, like on our end, cuz I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure that us doing this regularly upsets the family. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that some people feel some type of way to where it caused some emotional distress to where they're even going to be able to use this. Like, you guys drug this out for so long. We had to watch these guys talk about it.
Yep.
It caused us all type of trauma, social media. That's an
Yep.
impact on my mental health. And
Yep.
because you guys didn't handle this swift, you guys didn't do this, like didn't get it effectively and efficiently,
Yeah.
we had to deal with this for a half of year of this distress, of
Yeah.
this trauma. Our community has been torn apart. We have
Yep.
received threats from family members. So, like, yeah, all of this is going to play a role. And I know a lot of people have been saying, like, y'all might be messing up the case, but we potentially could be helping it. We put it
Absolutely.
on the civil side because, again,
Yeah.
I've received phone calls from people who were upset about some of the things that I've said to where I've changed some of the things that I've said, but they had every right to be upset.
Right.
This is a stressful situation. So all of this is necessary, all of this is pertinent, and all of it's important. And I don't believe that there's anything that we can do to ruin an investigation
Right.
because we're not asking for details and we're not giving details. We're only talking about things that the community is talking about. But I
Right.
definitely can understand how some of the things that we are saying and we are doing are rubbing people the wrong way because
Yeah.
they have to relive this
Yeah.
trauma. And
Yeah.
then when we bring in our speculations or we throw out our assumptions, then the wheels are turning for them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they got to think about it again as well. So all of this is related. We're looking at it. I'm looking at it as far as like the criminal. And
Hmm.
then when I say civilly, I mean we as a people, what changes need to happen in our community so this type of stuff doesn't happen. And then I'm pretty sure the immediate family, when it comes to civil, they want and they deserve some
Yeah.
compensation, a lot of it.
Yep. I know two things. I can't remember who reached out to me months ago, but when you and I first started talking about the investigation, um, each episode I would go on and I would rehash what happened. And I would rehash what happened for the new viewers that were tuning in so that they knew what we were talking about. And someone said to me, looking at it from the perspective of the family, when you rehash what happened, that could be traumatic to them. Um, why don't you refer to those new viewers to look back at one of your prior episodes to get caught back up on the story? And so I started to refrain from going through the entire recap. I did that tonight specifically because we haven't spoken about the investigation in quite some time in detail. But that was noted, that was respected, and that falls in line with exactly what you're saying as well. Second thing I wanted to say is, you mentioned something earlier that might um, might give HR an excuse if we were to call HR. If we're calling HR complaining about Sealinger, the district attorney has not released his name yet. So, how can we complain about him if we're not even supposed to be privy of who it is that's under investigation?
You know what? I'm glad that you asked that question, and I think that gives us more of an opportunity to be able to do so because we
Mm-hmm.
can call HR and be like, "Hey, I heard you guys got a killer working there. Is that true?"
There you go. Okay. Okay.
You understand what I'm
Good.
saying? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because like I've been in situations to where people have tried to call my job, and when you work for a prison, like people are gonna call anyway and make these crazy complaints, and
Yeah.
they tell you, like we just have to base it off of your behaviors.
Yep.
But yeah, we have every right to. I want to talk to the man. We could be Karens. I want to talk to the manager. Hey, On
Yeah.
July 2nd, there was a situation that took place. Aaron Osborne and Kevin Sealinger was there. This is what happened. Marcello Woodard was shot and killed. Do you know anything about this? Oh
Yes.
no, you don't. Oh wow, very interesting because I think you guys should be looking into this. And 1,000
Yes.
people called.
Yes.
Imagine being a human resource officer and your phone is getting blown up every
Yeah.
single day about one specific individual. There has to be something in the policy that says you are a liability.
Yep.
I can't
Yep.
do my job because I got to put out this fire for you. Or people are complaining about you. You know what I mean? Because again, we all know how that goes, man. When you get on that phone and you start calling people's job, like it's a way. And I
Yeah.
think that, like, how do I say this without offending anybody? We need to get some of those people who have no problem doing that
Yeah.
to do it. And when I say that, I'm talking about like some of the people who called on me. It was my baby mom in my younger days. My baby mom called one of my jobs on me. So we need some
Some.
people who have some anger inside of them, who know how to work the phone to try to jeopardize somebody's future, to make those phone calls in an angry manner. I'm trying to say this in the least offensive way that I can possibly say it. I've never been one of those type of people to do those things, but I do know people who do it, and it is effective.
You calling out some people.
So we
We.
need some people to, hey, call the HR. Hey, what's going on with y'all? Y'all got this murder in there. We don't like that. We hang up and put the number on social media. And
I was
and
gonna
once you
say,
put
I
listen,
make it
once you put
easy.
the number on social media, it don't just got to
Yes.
be people who live in Pennsylvania who do it. We can have people calling worldwide
Absolutely.
all day
And that's
from
what
8
we're
to
going to
4.
do. We're going to look the number up for the human resources for that department, and we're going to post it. And I challenge everybody out there to call and ask about this situation and see what they say. I mean, we need to hit them where it hurts the most. And as a community, there's some things that we can do. And this is a part of the community coming together saying, hey, we are, this is unacceptable and we need answers from someone, and something needs to happen. And this is a way, a call to action where we can get involved and make something happen, stir something up, get some other people involved if they're not involved. I'm with it. So we'll get that
Yeah,
number. I'll post that thing, man. We'll get that thing circulating around, and I'm pretty sure that those people that you're talking about, those people will pick up on
yeah,
this and
man. No,
make this
because and
call.
this is the thing too, like because it's people who ain't got no problem picking up a phone, and it's
Right.
people have came to me and was like, "Yo, I would love to do what you do, but I
Yeah.
can't articulate my words like you do." Well,
Yeah.
now you got every right to pick up this phone. I'm like, "Hey, what the fuck is going on up there?" You know what I mean? And talk how you want to talk,
That's
and
right.
ask them questions and figure out how does this dude still
Yeah.
have a job. And we're gonna get the number. Somebody in the comments, who do I call? We're gonna get the number. We're gonna post. We're gonna put it out there. If it's,
Yep.
we're gonna get the number for H. You remember, like, we're gonna get HR for Albion.
Yep.
We need the HR number for Cambridge Springs. We
Hmm.
need the HR number for Mercer County probation and parole, and we need the HR number for Erie County probation and parole. And we're gonna call all four of these entities all week until we find out where he works at, and we're gonna be complaining.
I'll be in Cambridge Springs. What are the
You
other
know,
ones?
I
I'll
always
be
said
in.
I call Roger Goodell's office all the time. Oh wow, so we got somebody to make some. Whoa. But yeah, no, we so and Cambridge. So he started at on 18th. Depends on when I started, but that's where his most recent. So I would say we start there, 18th Street, Erie, Pennsylvania,
18th.
Office of Probation and Parole.
Hmm.
We should probably call there. Hey, we're calling. We got some questions or concerns about Kevin Sealinger and Aaron Osborne. They
Hmm.
say those guys no longer work here. Well, where are they at now?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we can't get that information, we call Cambridge Springs. We
Yes.
call Mercer County. We call
Yes.
Albion. Those are four. There are four places, state entities that we have the right to call, and we can just, hey, can I speak to somebody in HR and make them phones ring? And again, the jails don't close, so HR,
No.
there will be somebody in HR tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They close for the holidays, but there will be somebody in HR tomorrow until Friday. There will be somebody in HR for all of those offices from 8 o'clock until 4 p.m. And then if we got to get email addresses, like, listen, man, I get nerdy because if I felt like it, I'd get in here and get find the names and all of that right quick. But we're gonna make sure we get that going throughout the week. We want people to be doing that, man. We're gonna get this dude at
Yeah.
this point, we're gonna get him fired.
Yeah.
We're gonna get him fired, or we're gonna work the hell out of the nerves of HR people,
Yeah.
phone calling, emailing, Facebook posting. Like, the
Hmm.
goal this week is to get Kevin Sealiger and Aaron Osborne fired if we can. And if not,
Yeah.
the HR office, they line gonna be blowing off the hook.
It's one or the other, and it is probably going to be both. You know what I mean? And that's my hope, because something needs to happen. And if there's something that we can do in order to continue fighting, this is what we're going to do. Chrissy's asking Albion, Cambridge Springs. We got 18th Street probation and parole office, Chrissy, and Mercer County as well as the other one. And my wife is crazy enough to do it. She'll call. She'll call
Hey,
tonight. She'll call
that's what
tomorrow.
we need.
This is what we're gonna do. So I'll put that up later tonight or tomorrow. We'll have the numbers up and the location, and that's what we need to do, man. Hey, this has been a very enlightening conversation. It's like you said. There's some things that, like, our minds work in a different way than some other people, man. And when you put things out there, you never know when a scenario that we've painted uh, becomes something that is going to be used in one of the investigations as important information. And all we're doing is talking about things. We have a lot of assumptions because we don't have a lot of the facts that they have released, and sometimes these conversations are definitely beneficial. Anything else you wanted to add before we wrap up, Cuz?
No, not. I just again on Wednesday morning, the resolution for Cello will be on the agenda for City Council for anybody who is able to make it. Make sure that you make it to that. We're gonna be calling HR this week to figure out how we can get these guys out of their positions.
Yep.
And we continue to apply pressure, seeking justice for Marcello until we get justice for Cello. And again, like, we just need to keep coming together as a community. I feel like the divisiveness has pretty much like ceased. You know what I mean? I feel like we're either all on the same page or we're
Yeah.
staying out of each other's ways to where there's no problems anymore amongst anybody seeking justice, which is a great thing to see.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So hold on. It said check the questions in the comments. Let's go through the comments.
Yeah. Let's scroll back a little bit. What we got?
Has anyone put a right to know for that specific information? People that still believe Cello child and violation of protocol and the law system.
Did anyone request the right to know who shot Marcello? Yeah,
I'm
she texted me the format. I don't know specifically if we requested the right to know for who shot him. Um, I would think, because we did get the right to know back from Sealinger, um, and it basically said that they were giving us no information at that time. I would assume that even if we filled out this request for the right to know for who shot Marcello, because it's an open investigation, they won't release that information to us when they have not released the information to the public or the family yet. That's my answer on that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure if anybody apply that right to know for who shot him. Not
Yeah,
100% sure about that. I know that we've been publicly asking that. I guess on just social media platforms. So that might be something that somebody could do. I know Chanel. Oh yeah, Cindy said yes. There's been 27 right to know requests. So yes, that
yeah,
has been requested. Because I know Chanel was doing something. She was trying to work on doing a template too, so everybody can do send some information off as well. So there's a lot of people work. There are a lot of people working behind the scenes who aren't as public,
yeah,
and that's, you know what I mean. That's great. But yeah, we just gonna continue to seek justice. Continue to support everybody who's been personally impacted, who's really having a difficult time dealing with this, and for the
yeah,
people who are strong enough to continue to push forward, we're gonna keep pushing forward. We're gonna keep making noise, man. We're not gonna let this go away. We're not gonna let this get swept under the rug. And like you said, this is not a race. This is a marathon. So as long as it takes, as long as I got life in me, man. It's
yeah,
bigger than me. It's bigger than you. It's about all of us. You know what I mean? Cholo was a
yep.
catalyst, and we're not gonna
Mhm.
let his name go in vain. So we're gonna keep making sure we make noise and connecting and building.
Absolutely. Erie City Council meeting Wednesday, December 3rd, this Wednesday at 9 a.m. The Erie County Council meeting is next Tuesday, December 9th. Those start at 6 or 6:30, 6 o'clock?
City is 6:30. County is 6.
6 o'clock. December 9th, Tuesday night at 6 o'clock, Erie County Council meeting. This week coming up here is going to be a milestone, man. Episode 50 for Etcetera with the Wooders. What we gonna do, man? You want to wear a suit or something like that? You
No,
want to have
I ain't wearing
some?
no suit, man. I need to. I can't wear no suit and sit in a chair.
It'd be so uncomfortable, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, but we gonna figure something out though, man. Hopefully, we get some information.
Yeah,
We do it after that city council meeting on Wednesday because I'm gonna keep
yeah,
posting about it.
yeah,
I know it's early in the morning. It's snowing now, man. So I'm pretty sure there's some people who don't. Because
yeah.
I'm telling you, that snow bring a different animal out of me, man.
I know you love it. I know. I
Listen,
know.
man. But we gonna be down there in the snow. So anybody who can make it, make sure you
Yeah.
get there, man. I might even have to unlock the doors and do some ride sharing so I can make sure I get people down there in the big body, man.
There you go.
Got to make sure we keep people active throughout this stormy weather because I know a lot of people don't
Yeah.
like it, but I love it. So I'm gonna be there for y'all.
Okay. Well, we could definitely plan on that. We'll do episode 50 Wednesday night, man. Wednesday night, 7:30. That good for you? You got any plans
I'm
that
gonna
night?
text you. I gotta text my calendar. It's on the wall upstairs.
Okay, cool. I'll
I
let
keep
everybody
stuff on
know.
actual calendar.
I'll let them know what time we come on. We'll do it Wednesday night, man, and we'll have some stuff to talk about from the Erie City Council meeting. And I know they're reading the resolution there and trying to get that approved as well. So DC will update us on that. Lastly, right before we go, I did state that I was going to talk about the AFC North. The Steelers lost tonight to the Bills at home. They are now tied. It ain't funny, DC. They are now tied 6-6 with the Ravens, but the Ravens are winning the tiebreaker. So the Ravens are AFC North leaders right now. We fall back into the hunt. There are three teams that are 8-4 right now that are holding up those three wild card positions. So we got to do some serious winning out there, Steelers fans, in order to get back. We got the Ravens twice here, so we'll see what happens. It's going to come down to the end. So, DC, what your team was the Niners?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir. Even when we hurt, we still doing it.
Yeah, they won. They're eight and four, 8-4, 9-4, something like that.
9-4.
It's 9-4. They won today. That's right.
Yeah, just beat the Browns.
Yes. Thank you for that too. By the way,
Yeah, I wanted to see Shador do good, but not today.
Yeah, I did too, and he's the thing that I've told a lot of people because I followed him, at Jackson State and also Colorado. He's got to learn how to get rid of the ball early. He holds on to the ball too long. In the NFL, you're going to create a lot of sacks. He had a history of that at Jackson State as well as Colorado.
Yeah.
He got sacked a lot. But the other thing is, if he has time, he will pick you apart because he's very accurate. I do like him. I like him a lot. I just hope he can learn to, and this has to do with vision and learning the defenses and picking, different blitz packages up to be able to let that ball go within 2 or 3 seconds because you don't got much longer after that, man. But hey, DC, thanks for joining me tonight. I appreciate it, cuz. We'll see you on Wednesday, okay?
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Okay, for Deontay Cooley, I'm Craig Woodard. This has been episode 49 of Etcetera with the Woodards. We'll be back Wednesday at between 7 and 8. We'll let you know when we'll be back. But please subscribe to Etcetera with the Woodards on YouTube. Follow, like, share, do all that good stuff, man. And we're going to continue to try to bring you some really good content and good conversation going forward. We'll talk to you guys later on this week. Have a good night.